Hello friends, the article which we are analyzing today is published on Hindu July 17th. The title of the article is Prediction, Pandemics and Public Health. It is written by Akil Bilgrami. So here the article author talks about human disposition. What are human disposition and how these disposition help or create problem in human society. So here particularly two human disposition author talks about in the context of COVID-19. So what are those human disposition? So those human disposition are capacity to anticipate or predict future and sharing with others. So this capacity to anticipate is nothing but our prediction that given a situation how things will turn out in future. This we everybody does that thing. Based on that we plan that this is the trend and in future the things going to be like that only. So this is a inherent capacity we all have, and that capacity is used to plan for future. And another capacity which we have, and particularly after this social media popularity of social media, we see that in human being there is a tendency, there is a disposition to share with other people. So whatever they learn, whatever they experience, whatever information they have, they want to share with other people. So these two disposition we see it is there in all of us. Now using these disposition, government or society had tried to institutionalize those things so that our tendency or our disposition can be better harnessed. Like you see, the disposition of hate is being channelized through the institution of military. Disposition of greed is channelized through consumerism. Disposition of empathy is being channelized through many NGOs. So for all human disposition, there is a certain institution which is catering to that kind of disposition. And corporation and investment banker also make use of human beings' ability to anticipate for their planning. Like in share market, you see that the investment banker or those who are dealing with share market, they rely on their ability to predict future. So all kind of disposition is there, and because of them there is a conflict also. And this conflicting disposition can be enhanced or undermined by institution. So suppose in one side, if it is harmful, your this human disposition is suppose harmful in one way, that can be countered by conflicting disposition in another direction, so that both the effect can be balanced out. So this is what we are seeing. Now for capacity to anticipate, which we have, but this capacity we could not use for predicting pandemic due to COVID-19. We know that investment banker corporation make use of human capacity to anticipate, because based on that this economic planning, investment, and other things are done. But why the capacity of predicting future and the amount of expertise available in one particular area cannot be did not uh, used for predicting pandemic, that and to anticipate that there is going to be a pandemic due to COVID-19, because there was a background SARS virus. Because of study in SARS virus, there was a ample evidence available in scientific community and medical field that there going to be a mutation of virus and going to be a big pandemic. So we have some background information of future thing, but still people were not able to predict a pandemic. So author says the reason why there was no prediction in this line, because there was no benefit, personal benefit, corporational benefit in issuing public health advisory prediction of this preventive kind. So what author is making an argument here, to predict of incoming pandemic and issue advisory or prediction for prevention, for mitigating purpose or for avoiding that kind of situation, there was no benefit was involved for any institution. So here we see that the disposition of greed worked in against with our disposition to anticipate. So here, even though we had a chance to anticipate COVID-19, incoming of COVID-19, but because of our disposition to greed, we did not do any prediction in that line. So if you see the human disposition, the capacity to anticipate was there, and it is very well being used in corporation and investment banker, but that disposition was not used for predicting COVID-19, and that disposition was not used because of another disposition, that is of greed. So there is a conflicting disposition. For that purpose, we need to build an institution which balance it out. For that purpose, for this particular case, COVID-19 case, what author is saying, that there should be public ownership of good healthcare system. Because if public is a stakeholder, public is having a ownership of good healthcare system, they will make use of human disposition, the resource of human disposition, to predict such kind of pandemic, given a background information. Because this will work against the disposition of private gain or benefit. So this is a very good and different kind of article which has analyzed this COVID-19 situation from human disposition angle. Human disposition angle. This human disposition is being harnessed by channelizing those human disposition in different institutions. So if we know the kind of energy or kind of disposition is available to us, and if we can channelize it for the societal good, that will be best thing for us, and we can prevent or predict a future pandemic also. So this concludes for analysis of first article. Now I'll go to the second one. The second article is The Lost Voice of the Indian University. It is written by Mahesh Gopalan. So what author is telling, what was the situation of Indian university before and after 2005 onwards, how the university working environment for university had changed before and after. So we see about what are the things happening in the field of education. So we know that after independence, how institution of academic excellence was built in India, and how the government supported in terms of infrastructure, in terms of uh, enabling institution to grow, and how this nature of university changed. Earlier it was being uh, used by only the elite of the society. Now the university, particularly higher education, got democratized, and so each and every part of the society, strata of society, now are eligible for higher education and for going to the university. So this growth of education and spread of university all across India, and by building institution of academic excellence and cultivating the kind of culture and ethos which are suitable for academic excellence, we have seen that India has done a good amount of work, and these things contributed to the growth of economy, politics, culture, shaped various social movement and overall nation building. But after 2015, the situation has changed. Now the more emphasis is given to the privatization, and university also changing character. The kind of cultural setting of university or the ethos of the university is getting changed, and administrative and academic decisions are also imposed by outside agency. It is not that the university administration are free enough to take such kind of decision. So with that, the intellectual space, freedom and autonomy of universities are shrinking, which is not good for the India. With this, the analysis of second article is concluded. Now I'll go to the third one. Third article is editorial for equal treatment. So here we see that Supreme Court has given the recent ruling of Supreme Court, where Supreme Court has given the same benefit to physically disabled people as enjoyed by scheduled caste. So the if we see the people, those who are suffering from disability, how disadvantageous they are. They belong to all section of society, all class of society, and they are underprivileged, underrepresented in accessing education and employment. So they are not able to go school or access education, and similarly they are not well represented in employment also. So to deal with this problem, there was a bill act passed, Right of Person with Disability Act 2016, where it is decided to increase quota from for employment purpose, increasing quota from 3% to 5%, and it is also decided to give incentivize private sector for hiring people with physical disability. So in that context, we see the Supreme Court ruling where which talk about giving the same benefit as given to the scheduled caste. It is based on uh, in the same line what earlier High Court has given a ruling in 2012, which says that people suffering from disability are also socially backward and are therefore at the very least entitled to the same benefit as given to scheduled caste or STs. So Supreme Court also agree with this position that people suffering from disability are at a disadvantaged position compared to attaining education or gaining employment. And for that purpose, proactive action, supportive action from government is required. For that purpose, they should be treated for benefit purpose equal to scheduled caste, and accordingly educational or employment um, reservation provisions should be made for them. But there is a counter argument also, because which says that equalizing physical disability with social disability and experience of untouchability means what this judgment has done, it has equalizing the physical disability with social disability. But editorial says that this is not the case, because those who are having a physical disability, as per the fact, as per the survey, as per the report, they also do not enjoy the benefit of education or employment. So government support to them by offering them the same benefit as scheduled caste is enjoying is in the right direction. So this concludes the third and last analysis of my article. I hope this will help you to improve your understanding. Thank you.